right, hello everyone and welcome to the first vlog for this year. So far it has been a really good year. I am in a far better place than I was last year, and if you've been following along on the stories on Instagram, because now I can bombard Instagram with stories which flow through to Facebook now that we've got decent internet, you'll know that I've been making a few changes around the shop. I've been reorganizing the shelves, I've done a bit of reorganization out the back, and these are all things I've actually been thinking about doing for so long and just haven't had that mental or physical ability to actually do it. And I've started this year off of let's get all this stuff done, and it's just feeling so much better than it has the previous few years. So I'm really looking forward to this year, and so far it's been a pretty good January considering it's that sort of quiet time. Not sure how this week is going to go. I know I always say that, but honestly I'm not sure how this week is going to go. While I explain that to you, I'm just packing some orders. I've got one here for Nikki, who has ordered 2 each of the snow cone and butterscotch lip balms. We're going to get that packed up for her along with her little ray of sunshine and a little sampler here. But the reason I'm not so sure about how this week is going to go, because the last couple of weeks have been really good, and I was so looking forward to this week as well. But we got an email last week from the agent who looks after the properties for the landlord, saying that the landlord had arranged for some painting work to be done out the front of the building, as well as replacing some of the gutters which had rusted out, which was causing flooding, I know, in my shop and potentially in other shops as well. And it's like, okay, great, they're going to get that fixed. And they said that there would be no impact on trade, and that they were trying to work with the shops opening and closing hours. So they knew that I was shut yesterday, and I actually did come into town with hubby yesterday. We came in for a family lunch for hubby's birthday, and when we walked by the shop I could see that they weren't really impacting the ability for people to get to my shop. Come in today and that whole situation has changed, and I was pretty much in the first sort of 45 minutes of being in the shop contemplating closing the door and going home, like packing the orders, shutting the door and going home, because I'm not sure what we're going to get today. So about 2/3 of the footpath have been blocked off with a cherry picker and yellow tape, so it's making it very difficult for people to meander and take note of what's around them. So they're so busy concentrating on not tripping over all the obstacles and watching people come by, that they're actually then back into this point that I was at last year, where people aren't seeing what's outside their sort of narrowed vision there. So I've had lots of people who can walk by but have not actually seen the shop at all because they're too busy navigating their way through it. And then there's points of time when the cherry picker gets pulled backwards so far that people actually can't get by the footpath, and they're walking on the other side of the tape, which is really dangerous. They're on the other side of the tape walking in the road in between cars and stuff. So that's all happening. The noise of the cherry picker is going to drive me nuts today. They've actually gone off on a break at the moment, so it's a bit quieter, but the noise is going to drive me nuts, and I don't want to keep shutting my door because then people definitely won't know that I'm open to come on in if they realise I'm here. So it's going to be a bit of a challenging at least day, and I'm hoping it is only going to be a day. I know the hairdressers haven't even bothered opening. I can't hear them, so it's really quiet because I can't hear their normal banter. But yeah, it is actually going to affect trade, so I don't know how the week is going to go. But I was really upset this morning, but I have kind of got myself into that place of, you know, it is what it is. Find stuff to do, you know, do stuff that while it's quiet you can do it, sort of thing. So I'm going to get these orders packed, ready to go to the post office this afternoon. I have to put some castor oil into my oil tank. I filled it up last week so we could make soap this week, but I was missing, my castor oil was almost empty, so I had to take the bucket home and get that refilled. So we'll put some castor oil in the tank there. Also this morning, I got an order come through from Julie for a wholesale order on some lip balms. We're going to make that this morning. And then pretty much this week, I have spent the last couple of weeks just stocking up all the shelves. I do have to restock the cuticle oils. I was waiting on some boxes to arrive and they came in over the weekend, so I can now actually make my cuticle oils, restock that. I've been experimenting with making body wash, so I'm going to continue to do that this week. I also have to make the DIY body care product for next month. We're making a fig and olive lotion, body lotion. So I'll be making that this week. And what else have we got? I've got a few things which I need to get packed and wrapped as well. So there is plenty for me to be doing, but I was just also hoping that there'll be plenty of customers coming into the shop like there has been. We'll see. It is also a very wet, miserable day out there, so that's not going to be helping things. But anyhow, that is Nikki's order wrapped up. This one should be under 250 grams, hopefully. Yes, it is. So that will go as a small parcel. So we'll pop that into just a standard black satchel rather than one of the Australia Post ones. And that will go as an extra small. And then we're going to move on to the next one. Before I do all the rest of the stuff, we need to finish packing these orders. I got one here for Rita, who is a long-time customer of mine, supporter on Patreon, and is also a Pamper Club member through the website. She has ordered one of our new room and linen sprays in Ocean Mist, which is a seasonal scent, so it's only going to be available for the warmer months here. She's also grabbed one of our newly released lotus flower soap bars. Let's pop that in there. And she's also grabbed our monthly melt edit. This is something new that I released this year, and basically it's a collection of 5 snap melts, which are all around a certain theme, and each month that theme will change. So on the first of the month we'll get a new theme, and you can either purchase the bundle of 5 melts as is, or you can actually do a subscription on them. And when you do the subscription, on your first subscription you will get a bonus melt as well, and then every 4th subscription there is an extra melt in the order as well. So you, instead of getting 5, you get 6 every 4th subscription, and each one is again around a theme. Your bonus melts might not always fit the theme, it just depends. I pick a bonus scent to do, and then once it's gone I make another bonus scent sort of thing. For this month we've got Australiana, so I've got Aussie Bush, Lemon Myrtle, Golden Wattle, and then we've got some Fairy Bread and Lamington as well. So we've got those 5 in there because she's only gone for just as a single purchase, or once only purchase, not a subscription. So we've got all that in there. Let's pop a bit of paper shred. Now, as I said, Rita is a Pamper Club member, and for January, for Pamper Club members, they are getting one of the little lip oils that I will be releasing hopefully next week. The packaging is at the post office. I need to pick it up on my way home, but we'll be releasing that lip oil very, very soon. If not next week, it will be at the beginning of February, but she's going to get a sample of that as part of the Pamper Club. Little ray of sunshine. I also have a little sampler and her little thank you cards. That is another one all ready to be wrapped up, so I'll get that one done. I think you've seen me wrap up soaps more, or not soaps, seen me wrap up parcels more than enough, so let's get that done. Plus I've got someone who may actually just about to be coming into the shop. All right, so I've got one last order here to pack, and this one is for Karen again, who has been a long time customer of mine. She's actually also a subscription member of that monthly melt edit, and she has ordered some refills in the reed diffusers. So I'm just making sure these lids are tightly on here. We have got some wood sage sea salt, we've got lime, basil, mandarin, some clean cotton, and also one of the lavenders. Just making sure that they are all refills. Yes, they are. She's also ordered some under eye cream, and because she has actually ordered over $50 worth of stuff, this month we are also giving away a small pot of the night cream to try. So let's pop that in there. Then we've got all of our other usual freebies to go in here, as well as a little sampler too. So I'm going to get this one all finished, wrapped up for Karen, and then it is time to move on to cleaning up this bench. As always, it was clean when I came in this morning, but I actually had to bring a whole lot of stuff down to the shop, and I've just got to get it all put away. But packing those orders was a priority. We'll get all of this all cleared up. I've got my wholesale order sitting there waiting, so I'll go and pull out all the ingredients to make those lip balms, and then we'll get on with the rest of the day and see how it turns out. Alright, so I've got about an hour until I close, and it's been one of those days where I'm now standing looking around going, what on earth have you done all day? Like, just what have you done? It just really feels like I have achieved absolutely nothing. Although I do actually know I have done a few things. So I've got all of the lip balms made up, ready to go for tomorrow. They have been sitting under the air conditioning. So in theory, they should actually be cold enough for me to package them up. But I really don't like packaging the lip balms until the next day, just in case there are any heat pockets within the balm inside the tube, because if there is, it will build up condensation in that tube if I pop the lid on, and then there are going to be problems with the lip balm later on. So I do like to, when I can, leave it that full 24 hours to cool, especially in the summer months. Winter's a little bit different because it is just naturally colder in the air and things do cool a lot quicker, but in these warmer months, especially while it is humid as well, it's just not worth that risk. So that will have to wait until tomorrow to cap them off, pop them in their bags and then send them off. So yeah, I did achieve that. I've got all the parcels wrapped, ready to go to the post office. Hubby's told me he went and picked up my Aussie Soap Supplies order, which is good because Australia Post really stuffed all that up this time. We got a message yesterday because hubby was waiting for a parcel as well, and it said that the driver had been delayed and the parcels wouldn't be delivered until later. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that's all right. And then when we got home, like in the Australia Post app, it's saying won't be delivered today. Got home and there's a parcel on the doorstep. It's like, okay. But in the app, it's still saying that it hasn't been delivered. So, well, I've got one of them. That's fine. And we pulled up the door, the security footage stuff, and you can actually see the delivery guy did turn up with the parcels, and I think what it was that 2 of the parcels were signature on delivery, so someone had to be there to take them and one of them wasn't, and for some reason it's just come through as being the driver got held up. And anyway, we got notification this morning, both of us, about 7 o'clock this morning, saying parcel delivery was attempted, has been taken to the post office. So we're thinking, well, no one attempted to do it this morning. Oh well. Anyway, this afternoon I get a message saying your parcel's been delivered. And I thought, well, how is it being delivered when it was waiting for collection? So I did have to get in contact with hubby and say, did you pick the parcels up? And he said, yes, he did. And because it's like a small country town post office, everyone knows everyone. Like I go in, they knew my name within weeks of me dropping off parcels. They just gave him my parcel as well. But I suppose it's really weird because it says it's been delivered, not collected. And then about an hour later, I got another email saying it's been collected. So who knows what's going on with Australia Post thing at the moment, but it can't decide how it's actually handling the mail. But anyhow, at least I know I've got that. So tomorrow, there's stuff in this parcel that I need for creating new products. So hopefully tomorrow I can do a little bit more creating. Today, I didn't do most of what I wanted to do. But I think for the last little bit while I'm in here, all I'm going to actually now do is get myself all tidied up. So when I come into the shop tomorrow, hopefully I won't be thrown off by the people doing whatever it is that they're doing out there again. And then I can actually really get on with everything that I kind of have planned in my head that I wanted to do this week. So I want to work on this body wash formula that I am working on. It won't be ready for probably months, but I do want to actually keep experimenting with this and discover exactly which formula I want. I have a cream that I need to make ready to go on the shelf. I'm bringing out that chamomile and oatmeal cream that everyone keeps asking me to bring back. I have finally finalized the formula. It is stable. It's doing what it's meant to do. So I actually want to make that this week. As I said before, I think I said it earlier, I need to do the DIY body care formula up as well. And there's just a few other bits and pieces I need to start getting tidied up. So what I'm going to do is spend the rest of the afternoon tidying up my workbench so that tomorrow when I come in, my mind is straight and I can actually just get stuck in to the day and not worry about what's going on out in the street. I did end up with a few people coming in this afternoon, but I'm probably about 50% behind where I have been for the last few weeks for the day, which is a bit of a shame, but there's not much I can do about it. I did actually get online orders today, which is a really good thing, whereas last week I wasn't even getting online orders. It was just all shop business. So anyhow, I will actually get on with tidying this up. I'm already starting to feel better that some of this is being cleared away, and then we'll be back into the shop tomorrow to tackle some creations. excited, Paul? Good girl. All right, got a couple of minutes until the door opens. It was such a lovely walk with Miss Pepper this morning. The sun was just starting to come up because we're on this side of summer. The sun's coming up that little bit later now, so I'm actually getting to watch it when we're walking, and it was just absolutely stunning this morning. Really nice temperature as well. It was only about 20 degrees, so a little bit cool on my skin, but it was nice for walking. And the really good thing was, on part of our walk, Pepper noticed someone further down the street, so she gave up sniffing and she just power walked down there. So I made sure to keep pace with the person in front, so I could actually get a bit of heart rate going and get in a good bit of walk. But unfortunately they carried on straight down the street and we had to turn down another street. And then the sniffari and the piggy rolls started all over again, but she absolutely loves it. I got to watch the sunrise, so beautiful way to start the day. They have just moved the cherry picker from in front of my shop, thank goodness. As I came around the corner and looked down the street at my shop, I thought, my shop front's completely blocked again. I'm not happy. But as I've actually come through the door, they're taking all the tape down and they're moving further up. And I think the hairdressers have closed again today. They can afford it though, because when a client walks in and drops $200-300 on getting their hair done, they only need one client a week to pay their rent, or one client a day to pay their rent. So if they're shut for a week and they've got another salon, they're fine. But it doesn't work that way for me. So, but I am glad that they've moved down, because it means that people aren't so distracted by tape and machinery and stuff, so they'll actually notice the shop more. So today is going to be a much better day. I've just unpacked an order I got in from Aussie Soap Supplies. I got my preservative in. My preferred preservative is Nipperguard SCE, and I always have one open bottle, one full bottle, so we're replenishing the shelf. I also picked up a new mica color called Fluffy Clouds from them. I wanted this to actually use in the new lip oils. We've got the lip oil containers as well, so now I can actually make these ready for the February launch. We'll be doing lip oils and lip scrubs, matching lip scrubs. There'll be 5 or 6 flavors. I have to find my book and find out what I actually wrote down. So there'll only be 5 or 6 flavors, and they're more actually focused on the color than the actual flavor. I cannot do the entire lip balm range in the lip oils. I just simply do not have the space to do 40 flavors out there. But they are actually, because if you have been getting these as part of Pamper Club, or if you've seen them through DIY Body Care, they are just a slightly bigger tube this time. I got these ones in for practicing, and then these are just a slightly bigger tube, and we'll be getting those ones done up. So today, oh, that was the other thing I just got as I got out the car. Downstairs, I got this message saying, your parcel has been delivered. I've been waiting for a parcel that George has sent me, and it literally got there 10 minutes after I left the house. It's like, oh, this is gonna, actually, no, it won't. I'm thinking it's gonna sit outside all day, but it's not, because my sister-in-law is going around to the house today, so she should bring the parcel in for me, hopefully. It is some new molds for soap making, so later on this week we'll get them christened as well. So it's going to be a good rest of week. What I'm going to do is go and get my door open, get my stuff out there. We're going to cap the wholesale lip balms, get them packaged up, and then we'll start making. I want to make the chamomile and oatmeal cream today. I don't know if I'll make my lip balms today or my lip oils today, because I've got lip oils and lip scrubs to make. We'll see. I've got everything written down that I need to do this week, but I haven't actually scheduled it because that threw me off so much yesterday. But let's go and get that door open. That will be a really good start, won't it? you saw, I wrapped up the wholesale order, popped it over on the counter ready to go, and I just started to do a couple of other things when I noticed my pot of night cream sitting on the side ready for samples to be sent out with qualifying orders. And I thought, you know what, I actually haven't stipulated on the website that that free night cream is only on retail orders, because I actually haven't done a freebie since I launched the wholesale on the website, so it wasn't something in my mind to actually make a term and condition. So because of that, I've just unpacked all of Julie's order so that I can put her free night cream in here. So let's see if we can get this packed so that we can get it in nicely. Let's pop you in there. Will you slide in there like so? Well, maybe we'll, if we go that way. Yes, we've got it in. So I am going to get Julie's order. In fact, we might do it this way. That'll give me just a little bit more room. Yes, that's it. And I will actually remember on future sort of freebies that I do on the website that they will only be for retail, but because I don't have it there, I actually have to do that. And plus Julie has actually ordered, this is her second lip balm order with me, so I want to do the right thing, so she can have that little night cream to try. Let's pop that on there, close that up, and then we'll try bagging that up again, ready to go out. Then before I can do anything else, I have just had a subscription order renew over on the DIY body care for the formula experience, and that one is for Samantha. So we're going to go and get her lip oils all done up. So let's get, oh, that bag went on so much easier than the last one. Before I kept catching the edges of the box on the bag, so that's that one done. We'll pop the shipping in there so I know that one is for Julie. And then, I know I'm not on screen there, but I will be back in just a moment. All right, I've just grabbed the 2 lip oils for Samantha's order here. Let's make sure I've got the right label for the right tubes. I didn't actually label them all up because if they don't all go in the subscription, then I'll actually just pop some Soy and Shea labels on them. And I've actually got on my counter this little section, or this little box that is like recipes that I've been working on where it's not quite right, or they might not be in the right packaging or something like that, and I've just got them there at a discounted price. So any of these like smaller tubes of the lip oils that don't go, I'll just pop some Soy and Shea labels on and pop them into that little container there, because everyone loves a bargain. All these, right, so that went into that bag easily this time, but the labels don't want to go on the tubes properly. All right, that's the first one done. Let's get the other one labelled up. Then I will get this one all boxed up, ready to go. And then I have pulled out the hot plate, and we're going to start making some cream. So going to finish getting, oh, label went on that one much easier, though I did wrap it around the wrong way so you can't see the ingredients properly. Oh, we're going to have a day, are we? All right, let's get that one peeled back. That's better. Right, get these ones all boxed up and ready to go out to Samantha. So we're getting close to home time. I have just over half an hour until I close the door. I've had a productive day with making things. Only had a few people come through the shop and most of them were browsing or just doing funny things. I had one person come in who was asking me for massage oil, which I used to sell, didn't do very well, so I got rid of it. Asking me for massage oil, and I told him he'd probably be able to get some from the chemist, and he went off about how they stick all these unwanted ingredients, unnecessary ingredients, and all this sort of stuff, and that it's toxic to the skin, and he was carrying on. And then him and his wife went outside to this little moped style bike, kick-started it, and this big plume of black smoke came out the back of this bike. And I thought, and you're worried about fragrance in some massage oil? I was like, oh, I needed a laugh. I really, really did need a laugh. It's just crazy, some of the contradictions that you do see. But anyhow, I have actually had a productive day in terms of making things. So over on the bench here, I have a big pot of the chamomile and oat cream, which is just cooling down now. It's got all its cool down ingredients. It just needs packing up tomorrow. And then I did another tester of what will be the Patreon recipe. I have actually been working on it for a little while. It's a hand cream recipe that's I wanted it to be more of a cream, whereas my hand cream is actually more of a lotion, so it's a bit thinner. I wanted a cream that was a lot more sort of intensive moisturizing. Like, I love my hand cream because it goes on nice and light on the skin, doesn't feel greasy and that sort of thing. But I know some people, especially those who do a lot of hand washing, want something a little bit more heavy duty. So I wanted to create that slightly thicker cream. It will be a DIY body care recipe, but I will also be making just enough of it to do it like as a limited run with Soy and Shea and see how well people respond to it before I make the decision whether or not to put it in as a permanent or not. We'll see how that goes. Now, I have been working on that cream recipe for a while, and it was all stable and everything else like that. I had some different extracts and things in there, and then part of the Patreon design challenge for this month was to use some fig extract, which is what I decided. I took out the other extracts, added in some fig and olive extracts into them. So just did another small test batch. I knew it was going to be okay, but it is something whenever you do make changes to your recipes, you should always be doing some little testers of them just to make sure that none of the ingredients do actually react to each other. So I've just made another test batch of that one. It's come together really, really nicely. Looks really good, so I'll leave that one overnight. I'm pretty sure it's still going to hold, and then providing it does all hold, still feels great on the skin, I will be making a bigger batch, getting ready to put that one out with DIY body care. But right now what I'm doing is labeling up cuticle oils. I didn't actually intend to make them today, but because I had everything else done and I still had a couple of hours, I decided that I would make the cuticle oil, so it was one less thing to do the rest of the week, because I have a delivery at home to bring in tomorrow to show you, and it means I can have a play with that. So I got all my normal cuticle oils all done up. They're the ones that come in the boxes. But I noticed in my box of pens, and I think it was, I actually desperately needed some new pens at one point just to fill an order, and I was still waiting on my big bulk lot to come in, and I ordered some extra pens, but it was only like a bundle of 10 of them. And I actually happened to get this little bundle of 10 when I got the big bundle of 100. So I never used them because I noticed that even though they were meant to be the same volume, they were actually different sizes to what I normally use. So this little bundle of 10 have kind of just been sitting in the box, waiting for me to do something with them. So I have actually filled them up, and what I'm doing now is I'm actually just putting a slightly different label on these ones. I'm putting a white label instead of a clear with all of the sort of directions for use and the ingredients on them. Normally my cuticle oils, let's get one out, have like a clear label on them with just the flavour and what it is, and then all the other details are on the box. But these ones, I've put all the labels onto here, and these will be giveaways for my Pamper Club members in January. And depending whether they all go in, February, sorry. We'll be giving them away in February to Pamper Club members who order. If they don't all go, because it's a bit quiet at the moment, I'll see what I do with the rest of them. But there are 10 of them, and I do actually have about 20 Pamper Club members, so we'll see what happens with those. But they are all done. Yay. What else? That is pretty much it, and I am super duper tired. So I'm just going to clean up my bench, go and put the boxed cuticle oils away, and then I think I might actually just sit down for 20 minutes because it'll take me about 10 minutes to clean up. I'm going to sit down for 20 minutes and maybe read my book. I know that sounds really bad, but there's not much time to start much else, and I am absolutely shattered. So I think that is the plan for the rest of the day. And then, as I said, when we're coming tomorrow, I have a delivery at home, and we might have a look at doing either the lip oils or the lip scrubs tomorrow. All right, good morning. It is Friday. I am in the shop half an hour early. I was sitting there thinking last night about what to do today. I thought we might attempt to do the sugar scrubs, and I thought, but I don't have the right sugar at home. So I thought I'll leave early, and I'll go and grab my sugar. So I left with enough time, thinking about the traffic and all that sort of thing. And the traffic this morning was absolutely amazing. Where there usually is a build-up of traffic, no build-up at all. In fact, the Caloundra Road, for those people who know the road up here, where it usually starts at 100 and then the signs flash and tell you to come down to 80 and 60 and then back up to 80 and back down to 60, absolutely ridiculous. But it was 100 the whole way through, absolutely fantastic. Apart from where it goes down to 80, it was 100 all the way down in that little bit. So it makes such a huge difference to the trip in. So I'm actually in here super early, but I did go and get the sugar for the lip scrub, so we will do that today. I'm gonna go and put this bag away, and then I'm going to show you the delivery I got. So I did actually open the box at home because I wanted to show hubby what I'd ordered. But let's get it actually officially unpacked because I only pulled one of them out. And I have been working with George to get this done. If you caught the last few sort of vlogs, I've had a problem with my original molds. For those that don't know, it's these ones, and I had 4 of them. And with 2 of them, 2 of the liners have just absolutely disintegrated. So I was able to find some liners online, courtesy of George. George was the one who actually found this company first. I will ask him if I can share the link down below because, he was the one that found them. But they had the right size liner for what I wanted. I got one of the liners in to make sure that the measurements on the screen were what I was going to get, because that is a big problem when you are ordering liners. They just never seem to be the correct measurements. So I got that in. It was perfect. The next problem was I needed wooden boxes to put them in. And I just knew that if I was going to attempt to make them, it was going to cost me a fortune. They weren't going to be very good. And I just thought I need someone to make them. And I'd already been speaking to George about a problem he had with his molds. And I recommended he went to the men's shed to go and get them fixed up, which he did. And then I said to him, can you talk to the men's shed by you and find out, if I send a mold down, can you find out how much it will be to get some wooden molds done? My local men's shed is not open at times I can get to them, and there's no phone number on the shed door for me to be able to ring them and talk to them, whereas there is with the one that George goes to. So he said he could. I sent him down one of the molds, and they came back with a price which I thought was ridiculously, stupidly cheap. So I actually sent down a little bit more because they are almost like a bit of a charity. You know, they allow men from within the community to go in, they teach them the crafts of wood making. It becomes like a social thing for them and stuff like that. So I actually did send down a little bit extra money for George to give to them, and they have made me some wooden molds, and George has sent them back to me. So I think I've got it all out. Looks like I will have to clean this mold up a bit though. It's a bit dusty and whatnot, but let me get them kind of sorted. Now he's also included a few extra bits. So let's work out what is actually rubbish. In fact, that's going home to go in for the fire pit paper bags. He has sent me a couple of extra pieces. I think that's that's the locking bit, and that's the ends. He jokingly sent me some wick tab holders for candles. He just doesn't use them, and he just wanted to get rid of them, so he sent them to me and said to do with them as I want. They will just go into my box of wick tab holders, so that I will eventually use them. And then he sent me some bars of his new soap. A soap I actually want to have a go at making myself, but he has sent me 3 of them, said that they could do with another 3 weeks worth of curing. And I've already lost 2 of them to hubby. He's already declared that he's getting 2 of them. So George has sent me his new tallow and milk soaps. Apparently I get to keep this one, patchouli and rose. Hubby doesn't like patchouli, so I get to keep that one. And then he has also sent me lemongrass and cedarwood. Hubby loves lemongrass. He loves anything citrus. And he's also claimed the lime and black pepper. So what I actually might do, because I really want to try this lime and black pepper, is while this is still soft enough, I actually might cut it in half, and then hubby can have half and I can have half. I'll have the patchouli rose and he can have the lemongrass. Oh, and cedarwood. Maybe I'll cut that one in half too. No, I'll give him a whole one and we'll each have half of the lime and black pepper. So thank you, George, for sending them through. They do smell so good, but I am going to leave them to have that full 3 weeks. Like technically they're fine to use now, but by giving them that extra cure time, it's going to harden them up and then they'll actually last longer. So I'm going to go pop them onto my cure rack. All right, so they're on the cure rack. I'll cut the lime one in a moment. I do need to go and clean this particular mold because it's full of workplace dust, but a good clean will bring them up. But these are, love the color. These are my new silicone liners that I've got. And I now have some wooden boxes as well. They have done such an awesome job of these. So I'm gonna just pop my liner in here. Let's hope the manufacturer does them all the same. That's looking pretty good. Pop that one in there like that. Nice. And they've just got a slight lacquer on the side of the boxes. You can kind of see that shine. And he's also done it across the top, which is absolutely fantastic because quite often with these wooden molds, they're not lacquered. And then you get all the oil and stuff in them. It's not a really strong varnish, it's just very, very mild, but it should help to keep them nice and clean. But you can see my mold now sits in there quite nicely, and the lacquer helps to actually stick and hold it up. They did make them. This is a preference that George has, but I think is perfect as well because it really helps to grab the mold. The mold is just about 5 mil higher than the side, which is also another really good feature. And the reason George likes it is when he actually fills his molds right up to the top, it's not getting in the way of the wood, so it actually sits above the wood. Again, it helps to keep that wood clean, doesn't disturb the sort of edge of your soap and things like that. These molds are actually, I think they're almost a centimetre. Let's double check. I need a ruler. Been a while since I ordered them. Yeah, they're 1/2 centimetre taller than what I actually wanted. So I won't be filling my molds up all the way, but that does give me a little bit of grip space for the molds if I need them. He also asked them to make me the removable ends, and I really like how they've done them. Like, normally the removable ends are flush, but they've done them so they've got this nice little piece to pull out. They've done such a wonderful job of them, and I now have 4 new molds. Now these molds are actually just slightly longer than my previous ones. Let me get that one. Oh, slid in there. They're actually a really nice fit as well, because he's custom made these to fit. Let's get you in there. So you can see if I line the edges of the mold up. Oh no, they're not. They're actually, I thought they were longer. I'm pretty sure they're longer. Oh, I thought these were longer and they're not. Oh, that's very interesting. Oh, I could have sworn these were meant to be longer. Oh my God. Oh no, they're now just a little bit. No, actually, forgive me, they are actually the same size in length. The difference is these are actually a thicker mould, which is why they weren't going to fit into my original boxes. I'm just suddenly thinking, I've just had all these boxes made and I didn't need to. But no, I did actually need to have them made so that these actually sit in here nicely. So I'm going to get all of this sorted out. It's still got 10 minutes until the door opens. So I'm just going to get myself all sorted so we actually look nice, neat and tidy. And then I definitely want to have a go, or not have a go. I definitely want to make my, my lip stuff today. So we're going to do that, and then maybe we can christen the molds. We'll see how, or at least one mold. We will see how things go today. All right, so I've just got everything popped away. I've still got a couple of minutes before I open the door. I'm going to start packing. An order that came in about 10 minutes before I closed the door last night was just not enough time to go and do it. I did go and pick it. I just didn't have time to wrap and send it off. This is for Julie, and she actually joined 2 of the subscriptions that I've got on the website. The first one she joined was the Pamper Club subscription. So that's going to give her automatic discounts on all of her future orders, also things like freebies, stuff like that. She also signed up for the monthly melt edit. So we're going to get that packed. Now, because she signed up as a subscription on the monthly melt edit, she's going to get the 5 melts here. So again, that Lamington, Fairy Bread, Aussie Bush, Golden Wattle and Lemon Myrtle. But because she has subscribed, she's also going to get a 6th one, and we're including Kakadu Plum because that was just another Australiana fragrance I had in at the time. But as I said earlier, your 6th one is not always going to be according to that theme. It just so happened that this was the first month I was doing it, so I did that 6th one as a themed one. Now, because she has joined Pamper Club, she's going to also get her first Pamper Pack. And the first Pamper Pack I always send out has a variety of products. Now, it does change according to what products I do have out. When I first started Pamper Club, I had shower fizzers and they used to go in the packs, but I don't have them anymore. So there's always going to be over $24 worth of value in the packs. So what we've got is a lip balm and clip balm holder in there. I have included one of our little guest soaps so she can have a try of our soaps. There is a little shrink wrap opener to go in there as well. We also include a melt. I just randomly pick a scent out. I have got a little miniature hand cream to go in there. I also have one of our branded pens in there, and there is a little key ring in here. I don't have many of these key rings left, but it's got like the little QR code and a little saying on the front, so we'll pop that in there, and that's a little Pamper Pack to go in with that. And this month we're also giving away the freebie for our Pamper Club members of the lip oil. So that will go in there too. I need to find a box. Now she has technically spent over $50 to get that free words come to me free night cream. That's it. Normally it wouldn't actually be on digital products, which the Pamper Club is almost digital, but you know what? I'm going to pop it in there because we're almost at the end of the month and I don't want that tub of cream left at the end of the month. So I'm going to go and get that one all done up. Then we'll get it packed and I'll get my door open and we'll get this day going. interesting sort of day. For starters, it's not Friday. I'm sure I said it was Friday at the start of today on here. I know I definitely said good morning, it's Friday, happy Friday on my Instagram stories because I have been bombarded with messages going, it's not Friday, it's Thursday. It's like, oh gosh, I've still got one more day to go. But that's good because it means I can get some more things done this week. It really did feel like it was Friday to me. And I should have known because I didn't walk Pepper this morning. Today was a sleep-in day, so I should have known it wasn't Friday. Pepper and I walk on Fridays. Well, we walk Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and if we can do a weekend walk as well, we try and do a weekend one. But I should have known better. But anyhow, I was very much so corrected over on the socials. But it's been an interesting day. It has been a bit hit and miss with the painting that's been going on out the front. They have disappeared now, but at one point they said, oh, can you pull your trolley in for just 2 minutes while we sand? 2 hours later, I was finally able to put the trolley back out the front again. At one point, they had the cherry picker right in front of my door, so nobody could access my shop at all, and that was for about 15 or 20 minutes. It was like, this is just driving me insane. I'm very tempted to write to the agent and ask for a day worth of rent deducted because of what's been going on, but once they all disappeared, I did end up with a local who'd been in Christmas shopping who came in and ordered a big gift pack. So that kind of made up for it. And I've had a couple of orders come in. Right now I'm packing one for Sharon. She's got a few things in here. She usually orders, there's a group of them that put their ordering together. Sharon orders it, and then I just send it all down in one hit because I used to wonder why she was ordering like 6 facial gels, and then she told me that she was ordering for a group of people. So she's grabbed 3 of the cashmere silk moisturizers. We've got a foot scrub in here. She's also grabbed, speaking of facial gels, we've got 2 of the hyaluronic ones and 2 of my original face gels. So let's pop them in there. She's also grabbed one of the new kids magnesium sprays. So let's pop that in there, and one of the wooden soap dishes. Let's do a little bit of juggling to get all of this into my box. Now she is, or I should say first up, she has ordered over $50 worth of stuff. So we've got our little pot of night cream to pop in there as well. So hopefully she gets to keep the little freebies. And Sharon is also a Pamper Club member, so we're going to pop in one of those new lip oils for her to have a try. Need a little bit of paper and then we can pop the rest in. I did also get another order today, but I'm not packing it today. I had Robin contact me, who's been shopping with me again for quite some time, asked if I was, first of all, going to make another seashell soap because she was almost out. And I have actually been thinking about making a seashell soap for quite a number of, let's be honest, months. And just haven't done it. So I said, right, I can actually make a seashells one. And she also wanted a coffee one. Now I do have my espresso martini out at the moment, but she wants one with coffee granules. And I have actually said that due to the coffee exfoliating bar not selling particularly well, it wasn't one I was going to make, but she could always use the builder soap function and can order the 9 bars of a coffee soap. And although that sounds like it's going to be a lot, soap really doesn't have an expiry date, and plus it's actually a much cheaper way of doing it than if I was to make a loaf and get you to buy 9 bars of it. If you custom make the 9 bars, you take the whole lot, it actually works out quite a bit cheaper. So she has actually put an order in for a few things, including the coffee soap. She asked me what it is. I actually put in, I put coffee, milk powder, my standard signature recipe. So she's ordered it as I would generally actually make it. And I said that if she put the order in, I would actually make her order and a seashell soap at the same time so that they'll be ready to send together. The seashell soap sells well for me. So I did make the seashells today, the little seashell embeds, to go into the soap. So tomorrow when we come in, we'll be christening one of those new molds, and I'll also be making her soap as well. So yeah, that's been good to have those orders. I am going to finish getting Sharon's all wrapped up. I have made, as you saw, the sugar scrubs, the lip sugar scrubs. Just before Sharon's order came in, I was actually sitting and making up the labels. So as soon as I've got this order packed, ready to go, in fact, it's 10 to 3 now, so I'll get this one packed and then we'll get all the shipping labels done up, and then I'll print up the labels for those lip scrubs. And then I need to alter the label for the lip oil to get that to fit the new slightly larger tubes, which will be good because the barcode on them is currently too small. So I'll get all that done this afternoon. And I think that's about it for now. So yeah, they're my jobs for this afternoon. Then I'm going to head on home, and tomorrow, Friday, I'm going to attempt to get up early, providing it is not raining, and take Miss Pepper for another sniffari. All right, finally, it is Friday. I have just been and picked an order for Vanessa. We've got a few lip balms in here. We've got a conditioner bar and a facial soap bar, as well as our face cream. We've actually currently got this one reduced. I ordered some cucumber oil from off another supplier who was actually cheaper for the cucumber oil. And when I got it in, I realized it didn't have that really nice, bright, fresh cucumber scent. I made the face creams up thinking maybe it will come through, but it didn't. So I've got that current batch reduced by 20%, and I'm going to make a batch. I've got the original cucumber oil back in. Smells beautiful. I'll make a fresh batch once this lot has gone. What have I got to do? So I did come in early this morning again. I had a few things that I needed for home from Bulk Source, which is right up the top end of the street there. So I've just been for a walk up there. I needed some coconut milk powder, some slivered almonds and stuff like that. A few changes going on up that end of the street by the looks of things as well. There's going to be a new Subway going in. One of the shops that's been there forever and a day is closing down. There's all sorts going on up there. So yeah, had a bit of a nosy nose. I've got what I needed. I've just come back. I've still got 5 minutes until I open the door. Now yesterday I did start to label up the lip scrubs, and then this morning I was sitting there thinking, I'm sure the weight's wrong. I'm absolutely positive the weight is wrong on them. For Christmas there was actually, I don't know why, I think it was because I didn't have the finer sugar when I did the Christmas scrubs, and I used a thicker sugar, so it took up more volume, so there was less weight in them. But now that I've got the finer sugar in here, we've got more weight in them. Sure enough, I've got the wrong weight on them, and it's quite a big difference. The Christmas ones were listed at 25 grams, whereas these are going to be 35 grams. So it's quite a considerable difference. And if I get a label inspector come through, even though they're overweight, you can still actually get in trouble for doing that sort of stuff because it's misrepresenting your products. So I've got to go and peel all these labels off. I've just reprinted the correct ones. So I'm going to get all these labelled up. I have to print up the labels for that oatmeal cream, get that done up because all these are going to go home with me on the weekend to get their photographs done. Then also today I have that custom soap to make, and also the seashells soap. Now with the custom order soap, I do actually have it on my builder soap. Would you like me to video the making of the soap? There's actually no extra charge. I know some people do actually charge to have orders packed or orders made on video, but I don't. It's purely up to you whether or not you want to see your products made, but they've actually said no, they don't. So I won't actually be doing a separate video for that. And I've done my seashell soap so many times in the past, I'm also not going to record that one, but I will be christening one of my new molds with that seashell soap. So that is my plan for today. The painters are outside, but it's also threatening to rain. So I don't know what's going to go on with that today, but hopefully it is quiet out there again. Hopefully we'll have a good, because it ended up being quite a good day actually yesterday. I was very impressed. But yeah, let's see how the day goes. And the reason I know it's Friday today, apart from the fact everyone told me yesterday, Pepper and I did go for our walk this morning. She was a bit disappointed though, because quite a few of the spots that she likes to do her piggy rolls in were finally mowed. It's one of the things we've noticed where we're living now. Our street, everybody mows. There's always someone out there every day at 5 o'clock mowing their lawns in our street. But then there's other streets in the area where people don't mow their lawns at all. And she loves it. She absolutely loves rolling through the grass. Anyhow, I need to go and get my door open. I'm in the shop. There's a couple of people out there. No point having it shut. So I'm going to do that, finish getting these labelled up, and also pack this order for Vanessa. productive day again today. I have got all of the lip oils done up. I wasn't quite thinking when I did it though, because I don't actually know how much will go into these new 15ml tubes. So it won't be 15 grams, it'll be probably just a little bit under, but I don't know. So I thought, right, I'll make up one batch of one of the flavors. I'll pop them into the tubes and then I'll know how much to master batch to fill the other flavors. And as I started doing it, I'm thinking I can't do that because I'm heating it, so I can't actually put it into the tubes until tomorrow. So I ended up just master batching the whole lot, and I thought, you know what, I really, really like this lip oil. So if there is any left over after I've potted up what I've made enough to make at least 10 tubes, but I'm thinking there actually might be enough in there to make 11, so I'll either end up with the 11th being a tester or one for me, or I have just pulled the last of the Pamper Club lip oils out of the thing, so I might have some different flavors to send out to people. I don't know yet, but I have got them all sitting over there cooling, so we'll be able to pop them up tomorrow. I've only had one customer come into the shop today. It's been really, really quiet out there. So I've basically been sitting here twiddling my thumbs. I'm trying to do up a label for the DIY Body Care hand cream, and it was about 10 to 3, and all these orders just suddenly came through on the website. So I'm going to try and get these packed so we can get them to the post office today so that we don't have to wait till Monday to send them. First one I am doing here is for Missy J. She is a Patreon follower. She does the Formula Experience on DIY Body Care, and she's been a supporter of mine through this website too. She's grabbed herself 2 of the magnesium lotions. So let's pop that in there. I need a bit of paper. Right, so let's get that bit of paper in there. I've got a little sampler to go in. I'm actually popping in a sample of the chamomile and oatmeal, which will be coming up very soon on the website. And my little ray of sunshine, my little thank you card. Oh, where's my phone? I need to print up some new shipping labels. I used to get all of my shipping labels actually printed up. I went to, I think it was Fast Printing. They're not very fast, but they're called Fast Printing. You'd think a company called Fast Printing would turn your orders around quite quickly, but there's other printing companies that turn it around far quicker than them. But anyhow, I'm not here to whinge about them. I used to get them all printed up through them, and it was something like $99 for 1,000 stickers. So really, really good price. But since having the 2 Munbin printers, so I can permanently have one that is shipping label and one that prints up like every other label, I've now actually just started printing all my labels on the Munbin printer. I'm really selective about what I do and don't print on the Munbin printer. I know they say you can print product labels with it, and I see a lot of people doing that. I personally don't, because thermal printing is not permanent. It does fade in UV light. I've got a lot of UV light in my shop. It's not a long-term labeling solution, so I actually don't use it for that sort of thing, but I don't mind using the thermal labels for things that aren't going to or don't need a long life. So basically when I pop, let's open that back up again, the little sticker that I stick in there, I actually don't really need it to be long life at the end of the day. It's just there to hold the paper closed, have a little welcome message when you open it up. And I figured, why am I spending money on those colour printed labels when it's 1,001 design, whereas this way I can print up whatever designs I want, change them for seasons. Like I've actually literally changed the sticker this year from my logo to something that says relax and recharge. I can change it for Easter and all that sort of stuff. Where's my tape? So I have actually started doing a lot more of my printing on my thermal printer. So yeah, we've got that. Let's get this one finished wrapping up, and then I'll move on to the next one. I'm going a little bit quicker because it is 3 o'clock, and I really want to try and get these into the post today. Sorry, I'm laughing because I know it's hit international news because I've heard people talking about it on things like podcasts and on Instagram and stuff. If you haven't heard, Australia had that social media ban kick in just before the Australian school holidays. So all these kids have just broken up from school and then told they're not allowed on social media. And this holiday season has been the worst one for me, seeing kids doing stupid stuff out in the street out there because they can't be at home on their phones and doing whatnot. They are out and about, which is a really good thing, but geez, they're doing some crazy stuff while they're out and about. I've just seen two going down there on some sort of bike in the middle of the road. It's only meant to be 40 in that bit of street, and I can tell you very few people do 40. They're in the middle of the road, two on the same bike, neither of them with helmets, and he's bouncing the bike along the road. And I've seen all sorts of crazy stuff like that. One of the biggest concerns for me has been the fact that I stand here and I hear them go whiz, and you hear the bikes going up and down the footpath, and it's just like, I say to some people on their way out, just be careful and look both ways before you walk out the door, because I know one day someone's going to walk out the door and just go belly up because some kids come racing down on their bike. So I mean, although I think it's a good thing, like I know they're trying to get kids off because of predators, but they unfortunately let the kids still use the websites where the predators actually are. And I know it's been a good thing that it's got kids out of the house, but Jesus, some dangerous stuff going on out there at the moment. Anyhow, that is a high horse. That one is Missy J's all done up. All right, next one is for Misha. Literally, these all orders just came bing, 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 one after another. I haven't done anything for the last couple of hours in terms of seeing customers or anything else. And then all of these just came flooding through. Let's grab shipping box. I'll go and grab some paper to line it with. All right, that's my paper lining in. Trying to do it quickly without making it look like I've done it quickly, unless they watch the videos. But what has Misha got? We have got 2 bottles, 100ml bottles of the lavender reed diffuser. I am actually selling that out, and I think that is now all gone. There's only the glass bottle that's left. The lavender fragrance I'm clearing off my shelf. It's one of those fragrances everybody wants and nobody buys. So I've just decided I want to move it off the shelf and move on to other scents. Sun-kissed moisturiser to go in here. We've got the essential oil cuticle oil thing. We've got the enchantment perfume oil in there. And she also gets the reed sticks. So whenever you order reed diffusers, yes, I know I'm off camera. Whenever you order reed diffusers with me, they do always come with reed replacement sticks. Whether you're buying brand new or refill bottles. So we've got those in there. Now she has spent over $50. So we've got our little pot of cream to go in there. She is also a Pamper Club member. So we've got our little lip oil. We've got our little ray of sunshine. Oh, and no sampler yet. So let's grab a little sampler to tuck in there. We've got our ray of sunshine, our little thank you note. Yes, that is the correct one. Let's wrap the paper around here. Grab our little sticker. All right, I'm going to get this one wrapped up, and then I have just one more. Oh, the reeds are in the way. Slow down. All right, on to the last order. I do actually have a cutoff of 3 o'clock when it comes to getting orders, and that is 3 o'clock Brisbane time. And that is simply because it does take a little bit of time to pack an order, a couple of minutes per order. Even if I wasn't wrapping them, it would still take a couple of minutes. I've then got to get it through the system to get shipping and everything else. And if I start packing orders that come through at 3:30 in the afternoon, it can actually delay how quickly I get out the door, and then delay me getting to the post office to get the orders into the post. So these ones all got in just in time. This one is for William. Now, if you've been watching the vlogs for a while, you'll know I'm always packing an order for William on the vlog month. He likes to see his orders packed. So I'm going to make sure I've got this right, because we have got a ton of lip balms in this one. First of all, I'm going to start, we've got the mystery soap set of everyday ones. I'm not going to show you what's in this one, William. You're going to have to wait, but there are 5 of the everyday soap bars. So I just randomly select 5 of them from off the shelf, but you will have to wait and see, because it does say it's a mystery. He has also grabbed the monthly melt edit as a one-off. So we've got those 5 melts to go in here. Let's pop them in. He has also grabbed one of our coastal orchid soap bars. I'm crossing them off to make sure I've got all this right. We've got the Island Dreaming, and he's also grabbed our new lotus flower. So let's pop those in there. I'm going to pop this into the box now because we've got room. It's over the $50. So we've got our little night cream in there. Let's grab all of these lip balms. He has grabbed one of our snow cone. So we've got a snow cone lip balm. We've got the orange and apricot lip balm. We've got a mocha lip balm. So they're the beeswax ones. Let's pop those in there. Then it looks like he has grabbed 2, 3, no, he's only got 9 of them. Oh, which one are you missing out of the vegan ones? Let's have a look. Oh, I know which one it is. We have got a pineapple coconut. We've got a mango. We've got the apple and rosemary. We've got, yuck, ginger peach. I can't stand that one. So many people love it. I hate the smell of it. I hate the flavour of it, but people love it, so it's in there. We have got bubblegum in the vegan. We've got toasted coconuts. We have also, this one's one of my favourites, is peppermint and lemongrass. We've got carrot cake, and then another of my favourites is this blueberry lemon. So the only one you're missing out of there is the watermelon basil. All right, I'm going to get my little bit of paper shred in there. I might need just a little bit more. Yep, that's looking better. So of course we've got our little ray of sunshine to pop in here. I have a sample of the chamomile and oatmeal moisturiser that's coming out soon. William is also a Pamper Club member, so we've got the lip oil in there. And of course we've got our little thank you card. Yes, and let's get this one all wrapped up and ready to go. All right, so today has been quite a productive day. I'm happy with everything we've got done. So we've got those 2 soaps, christened the new soap moulds, got all those lip oils done. Tomorrow when I come into the shop, it is only a short day, so we won't have lots of things to do, but we will end up cutting those soaps, and I will also pot up those lip oils and finalise the labels for them. And then I'll be taking them home on my weekend. Really looking forward to the weekend, which is why I was so disappointed yesterday when I was told it wasn't Friday. Tomorrow, my Saturday, meeting up with my parents to do our Christmas thing. Now with my family, because it's basically just my mum and dad over here, and I'm an only child, Christmas is a little bit different for us. You know, we live in a time when we have everything that we want, hubby and I have quite a simple life. We don't want a lot of stuff. We don't need for a lot of stuff either. We enjoy experiences more than, you know, the physical things. So when it comes to things like Christmas, because everyone usually has everything that they need, or, you know, that sort of stuff, me and my family, we do experiences instead of buying gifts. I started a tradition a few years ago that Mum and I do. I made some Christmas crackers out of material, so they're reusable, put everybody's name on. The first year I filled them up with some scratchies and some little presents, and then Mum said, oh, I'll do it next year. And each year we take turns, either I have the crackers or Mum does, and then we just put little, you know, $10 gifts sort of thing in them. But then we go and do something big together. We've done things like we've gone and done the Maryvale Rattler train. We did that one last year. We've done things like axe throwing, and then a lunch. So, you know, we go and do something together that's an experience to remember. And this year we've actually treated ourselves to a really fancy dinner. Back in 2019, I first became aware of something called Le Petit Chef. And it was a show that was, it's travelled the world as far as I know. And it was travelling around Australia in 2019. And by the time I'd found out about it, it was at the end of the tour. The last bit was down in Melbourne. No way we could go and do it. And I was a bit upset about it. And then I actually discovered last year that this sort of one-off experience that was travelling the world at the time now has permanent locations. And one of those permanent locations happens to be in a restaurant in Brisbane. And I said I really, really wanted to go and do this experience, Le Petit Chef. It's le or la? Probably le, because male. Yeah, the male's le, isn't it? La is female. I'm sure someone who knows the French language better than me will correct me, but I'm sure it's le petit chef. And basically it's like this. You go in, if you've never seen the videos, you have to go and look for the videos. It's fascinating. So you've got your dinner table, and then it becomes like this bit of a projection screen, and they project this tiny little chef that comes out onto the table, and like he'll cut down a tree, which is like a piece of broccoli that goes into your meal. I know that we've got a seafood bisque as one of the dishes, and like you see it becomes like water, and you see all the animals getting flipped over and caught and put into your bowl and stuff like that. It's a real interactive sort of like you don't have to do a lot, you just have to sit and watch it, but it just looks like a whole lot of fun. And I said to Mum, why don't we go and do that for our Christmas thing? So that's actually what we're going to be doing tomorrow. After both hubby and I finish work, we'll get ready and we'll go meet my parents down in the city, and then we're going to go and do this dinner experience, and I'm so excited for it. I'm having to have the vegetarian meal because 3 out of the 5 dishes on the main meal were had dairy in them. I just thought I may as well have the vegetarian because the vegetarian's actually been written up to be vegan. It's all plant-based. I thought I may as well just have that, and then we don't have to worry about me being potentially sick throughout the meal. And there is one dish, this seafood bisque. My hubby doesn't like seafood like that, but my dish is actually a pumpkin soup, and I said, look, you can have my pumpkin soup and I'll have your seafood because I know that one's dairy free. So yeah, we're really looking forward to doing that tomorrow, which is why I was so upset yesterday because I thought I was going out for dinner tonight. But anyhow, I have got this final one all wrapped up for William. I am going to go and get the shipping labels done up, going to go and put all the rubbish away that I need to unplug the things that I don't want left in, and then I'm going to head home and we'll be back in tomorrow to do all those things I said I was going to do. All right, it is Saturday. I am actually a bit tired today. I'm hoping I'm not going to fall asleep in my soup tonight because that's going to not be a good thing. I'm sure there's going to be enough entertainment going on that I will stay awake. But last night, I was woken up in the middle of the night, what felt like the middle of the night, by the sound of helicopters, and which is really, really weird at night time. We do have flight restrictions and stuff at night. it's not unusual for us to hear low-flying helicopters around here. We've got a lot of bushland around us, and a lot of people do go missing in the bushlands. We often hear the search and rescue helicopters flying around, but not at night time. And I could hear these helicopters flying around. I thought, what on earth is going on? What time is it? And it was like just after 1 o'clock in the morning. So it was really strange. It took me a while to then get back to sleep. And then at 4 o'clock this morning, the cicadas or however people want to pronounce them, they started singing their little hearts out. They've been doing that a lot lately. 4 o'clock in the morning, they just start up. And I eventually managed to fall back to sleep, but I was shattered when I actually woke up this morning from all of that disturbed sleep. But we'll get through it. We always do. I'm just cutting some fabric for some scrunchies. Now, I'm afraid these new scrunchies will not be going on to the website. The scrunchies do sell really, really well in the shop, but scrunchies don't sell particularly well on the website. And it does take a lot of time and effort to load things onto the website. And it's a lot of time and effort for stuff that is in limited numbers and doesn't sell online, but I know is going to sell in the shop. So I've just made that sort of decision that these scrunchies won't be going online anymore. What's there, once they're gone, and they'll probably be removed unless they suddenly start selling really well on the website. Then I will put more on. But for now, it will just be in the shop. I am cutting some of this fabric before I head into the shop today. And I thought while I'm doing it, I'll have hopefully what will be a quick chat to you about something that I was asked on previous vlogs. I've actually written down notes to keep myself on track and hopefully not do a 30-minute chat. On the last vlog, I did have someone ask if I could actually talk about some of the things that I had been experiencing or still am experiencing while going through perimenopause. So I have spoken a little bit about this sort of stuff. I have pretty much indicated about some of the more common sort of things that people are going through, but there are also a lot of things that I've experienced which is just like, what? This doesn't make sense. Now, before I go into any of the sort of things about what I have been experiencing, first of all, we're all going to experience this differently according to whatever our health issues actually are. And just because one person experiences something, it doesn't mean to say that you will experience it, or maybe you're experiencing something else that I don't experience. And the other thing is, even though I've been put onto medication, we're actually not allowed to discuss prescribed medication here in Australia, so I won't be sharing any of that. Plus, what works for me may not work for somebody else. It's taken a lot of attempts at various medications to get myself feeling right again. But there is also that thing, remember, I also have polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is it's actually quite a complicated illness. It's very hard to explain to people because there's so many facets of it, and there's also a few different varieties. There must be a better word than that. Over the years, I've actually discovered that it's not under just one single umbrella. There's actually a few different ways that people can experience polycystic ovarian syndrome. One of them is medically induced, and those people can often cure or get rid of their PCOS. I have a genetic version of it. It will never go away. No matter what teas, potions, and everyone tells me to drink, it will never go away. But PCOS basically is a hormonal imbalance, and that is what perimenopause is as well. So some of the things I'm experiencing may or may not be related to the PCOS. But here are just some of the things. So everyone knows, they've heard me, if you've been around for a while, talking about the tiredness, the absolute exhaustion that I've had, the inability to do anything, and the tiredness. I've always been physically tired from the PCOS. It's just one of the side effects or the symptoms of it. But I was mentally and emotionally tired as well. I couldn't get myself motivated to do anything, as I've spoken about so much. You know, I've said before, I almost destroyed my business because I just didn't have that emotional ability to do anything. I didn't want to do anything. Whereas normally when I am physically tired, I can actually push myself to work, because I know if I don't, I will actually feel worse if I don't do anything. During this time, I couldn't do anything. I really couldn't get my mind motivated to do stuff. And this is something that's very, very common in women with PCOS, just that tiredness. And a lot of that does actually come down as well to your sleep patterns being disturbed. A lot of women will also experience disturbed sleep patterns, which I did, and it was really, really hard for me because I've always been a very, very sound sleeper. I can sleep through thunderstorms, through fire alarms, all sorts. And I was finding I was constantly waking up in the early hours of the morning. And not just, a lot of women say they wake up at 3 o'clock. I was waking up constantly throughout the night. I was not getting good night's sleeps. And I was just so tired from that as well. I now actually am sleeping all the way through the night again, but not as heavily. Oh, there's a spider up there. Not as heavily as I used to. Like I said, I used to be a really, really heavy sleeper. I have slept through fire alarms. I have slept through thunderstorms, all this sort of stuff. And now noises do wake me up. And that was the thing. Both Pepper and Lucy. So this is how long it's been going on for. Even when we had Lucy, when they start doing their midnight groom, once upon a time it would never have bothered me. But the minute they started their midnight grooms, it would wake me up and I'd get so cranky with them. Pepper, we found out it was allergies that was doing her midnight grooms, and now we've sorted that out. She stopped. I don't know why Lucy started doing these midnight grooms, but yeah, they used to wake me up all the time. But now I am sleeping all the way through, providing there's no additional noises. So like last night, I heard these helicopters. It woke me up, whereas once upon a time, it wouldn't have. So my sleep patterns have been somewhat disturbed, leading to the tiredness. The other thing I've had is brain fog. And I'll be really honest and say that I used to not believe in brain fog. I just thought that it was just people being silly. But I can tell you brain fog is real. It is so real. I don't have a photographic memory, but I have a very good memory. You know, really push myself up on that ladder sort of thing. But I do actually have quite a good memory in terms of we can be driving somewhere and I can actually recall things later on. So say we've driven past this row of shops and there's a very specific shop in there, and a few weeks later hubby goes, oh, I'd like to find a shop that sells this. I can, oh, there was a shop over there that we could go to, and I saw it when we were driving, and he's like, how do you remember that sort of stuff? You know, so I can do that sort of thing. And then it would be things like, you know, entering stuff into my counting books. I wouldn't have to look 3 or 4 times. So yeah, I could actually remember this sort of stuff. But what I actually found, oh yes, my little counter's just gone up on the wall. That means we've got an order to pack when we get to the shop. What I was finding was that, and you've seen it through this vlog, because it still does happen, the inability to talk, to recall words. It was just, I'd start speaking. It was like, there's a word I should be using. And I just couldn't recall very, very simple words and things. Also, like, as I said, I don't have a photographic memory, but I have a very good memory. So things like when I'm actually pouring, that's too much fabric to cut today. Things like if I was cutting, it'd be things like if I was pouring ingredients into the containers. Say I'm making a lotion and I'm pouring my ingredients into the containers. I would look at it and go, right, I need 850 grams of water. And I'd go and pick up the jug of water and then I would start pouring and go, how much do I need? And I'd look, it's okay, 850, and I'd start pouring it. How much do I need? And then I'd get up to like 700. How much do I need? And I just could not retain really simple stuff in my head that I have been able to retain in my head before. Like I could usually look at recipes and go, right, I need 850 grams of water and 50 grams of glycerin. And then I could actually used to be able to pour both of those, not look back, know I have the right amounts, and then I could go and look at the next ingredient. I can't do that anymore. I have to double check everything that I'm doing. It did get quite concerning for a while there because I'm thinking, what on earth is wrong with my head? Because nobody, at this point, I had no idea what was going on. And it sounds really out there, but my mum was actually a radiation therapist for all of my life. So she treated people with cancer. So of course, the worst things are going through my head. Like, why can't I retain information? What's going on in my head here? And I've tried speaking to GPs who've just told me, oh, it's okay. You know, there's nothing wrong with you, without running tests or anything. They're just telling me there's nothing wrong with me. And yeah, that sort of brain fog was horrendous. But not only was I getting brain fog, I was also getting dizziness. The dizziness was absolutely insane. Now, I've always had slight dizziness throughout my life. I have spoken to doctors about it in the past, and all of them have just brushed it off, saying there's nothing wrong. I've asked to be tested for vertigo, and they've all said, no, you don't have vertigo. Even without running the test, no, you don't have vertigo. It's, you know, you just, because with the PCOS, you can have, there's a lot of insulin resistance, which means low blood sugars, stuff like that. It was all just put down to being part of the PCOS, which in some ways it was. That insulin resistance did contribute to the dizziness, and also the imbalance of hormones can contribute to dizziness as well, which is something I found out recently. But what I was finding over the last few years, which is why my head was also going into really, really crazy places with what was wrong with me, is that the dizziness was getting really, really bad, to the point that every time I stood up, if I stood up even slightly too fast, I would kind of topple backwards, or I'd be standing there and people go, oh my God, are you okay? So obviously my eyes were rolling as well, and it did look like I was dizzy. And it was getting really, really bad. I would be having several dizzy spells a day. What I have actually since found out is that our sense of balance is controlled by hormones, or what they believe. They haven't done full research on it, but they do believe that the hormones are responsible for helping with our balance. And apparently in our ears, we do produce estrogen in our ears, and the drop of estrogen in our ears can cause that sense of imbalance. Now, because my PCOS, I've always been pretty low on estrogen anyway, which kind of explains why for most of my life I have felt dizzy. And then the bigger drop, the dizziness was just absolutely crazy. With all the new medications I'm on, which has helped balance my hormones back out, that dizziness has stopped. But you can imagine where my head was going. I'm feeling constantly dizzy and lightheaded, can't remember stuff. It was not fun times. Anyhow, we're getting on a bit here, aren't we? What else have I got down on here? Itchy skin. Oh my God. Again, this is actually related to the drop of estrogen. Apparently, the drop of estrogen pulls that sort of hydration out of the skin and it leads to itchy skin. So I'm constantly itching. And I do actually now look back at it, and I remember my mama around my age, all around here, around her eyes, always were red and puffy. She always had watery eyes. She was always saying how incredibly itchy they were. And that's what I get, especially in here around my eyes. I use my hyaluronic facial gel to take that itch away and to really hydrate my skin. But I also get really itchy across here. Just on the top of my chest here, I get really itchy as well. And it's like, oh, this is driving me mad. So yeah, the itchy skin is just, oh, I wish that bit would go away. But then some of the sort of more unusual things that I've experienced, they do say that women get moody. They have these big mood swings. And I've actually been really, really fortunate in that department because part of my PCOS, I used to get big mood swings. Plus my dad's got a fairly fiery temper, which I basically got from him. So I used to get a lot of mood swings. I used to be really, really happy one minute, and then I could be really cross and angry the next minute. It was really, I laugh, but it was pretty bad. And I actually didn't like the person that I used to be. And then when I went into perimenopause, for some reason, when I got put onto the medications I was on, it took those mood swings away for me. I still do have the odd bout where I want to sit and cry, and that's been something I've had with my PCOS for a long time. But a lot of the really horrific mood swings that I had, they've gone. Oh, I was so happy about that. But that's really, really unusual. Most women will get mood swings, unfortunately. So partners, beware. But I honestly have... yeah, those mood swings for me have gone, which is really, really nice. I'm a much happier, more content person than what I used to be. Oh, that's not going to give me what I want. But yeah, that's been a positive for me. I don't get angry like I used to, which I am so grateful for, because I looking back, I don't really like the person I was before now, but I really love who I've become since being put onto my medication and losing it. So I'm sorry for those of you who do experience the mood swings, but for me, I went the opposite way. The other sort of things I've had, anxiety. They do say that you get heightened anxiety throughout perimenopause. And I can tell you, it all makes so much more sense to me now. Oh, I will have to go very, very soon. I have always been a fairly anxious sort of person, but my anxiety levels have absolutely skyrocketed over the last few years. I've not really understood why. If you were following along a couple of years ago when we were moving house, closing down the business, etc., I also got called in for jury duty, and I explained in the vlog around that time that I had an absolute panic attack when I was in the city. I broke down in tears because there were so many people around me, the stress of it all. And looking back now, I can honestly say I feel it was the heightened anxiety from being in perimenopause that caused my reaction to it. But we've also seen a lot of changes in our life over the last couple of years as ways of me of dealing with this anxiety, this growing anxiety that I was feeling and couldn't understand. Things like we very, very rarely go into shopping centres anymore because I couldn't deal with the number of people around me. going into shops where everything's really enclosed in. I could not deal with this sort of stuff anymore. I hate going into Coles and Woolworths because of the amount of packing people that, you go in there these days. There's no such thing as night fill anymore. So you've got all these trolleys everywhere with staff who don't care that there's customers trying to shop. All they know is they've got to stock the shelves. So they're constantly in your way. And then you've got all the online pickers who just barge on through with their trolleys. I cannot deal with shopping in Coles and Woolworths anymore. And as a result, it sounds really weird, but as a result, we do a lot more shopping at Costco, which you kind of think, well, hang on, isn't that, bigger and more, a lot more people in there? It's actually causes less anxiety for me these days to go into Costco than it does to go into Coles and Woolworths, because you're not battling the staff with packing. Yes, you do get the odd one coming out to restock the meat aisle or something, but a lot of the other areas within Costco, you aren't battling staff, and even though there's a lot of people, there's a lot of room, so I don't feel as enclosed. So I actually find shopping in Costco easier than shopping in Coles and Woolworths these days. And we've also got another little store. It's a Queensland-owned brand called Fresh and Save. And again, you go in there and you don't have to battle packing staff. Like, everything is done outside of hours, and it's just so much nicer to shop in there. And I do avoid shopping centres now because of that anxiety that I was feeling. I have noticed in recent months that anxiety is coming back down where I can actually manage it and don't panic. But that has been something that I have noticed for the last few years has been around. But I am back down to the point where I can actually manage that anxiety level. But I do have two other things I want to talk about, but I'm going to be late if I don't leave now. So we'll go down the shop and I'll talk to you about it there. All right, so I've made it down to the shop and I've been and packed the order that came in. It was for Vanessa. She's ordered a few soaps, including the Coastal Orchard. We've got Sweet Chai, we've got Spa Day, and we've also got the Lemon, Honey and Turmeric soap. And she's also grabbed a car air freshener with the Dreamcatcher design and a bottle of the Sun-Kissed fragrance. We'll get that in there. And Vanessa is a Pamper Club member, so she will be getting the lip oil to go in here as well. So let's get that in there and get it packed. And then I'll finish telling you about some of the last two of the sort of symptoms. And they're a little bit more quirkier. And I think not unique to me, but not everyone, in fact, I know not everyone is going to experience what I have been experiencing, but I will still share that with you anyway. We'll go for that as the little sampler. Now, the first of the kind of really quirky things that has happened is that I have kind of developed this histamine intolerance. I've always been prone to little histamine outbreaks, but over the last few years, I've noticed that it's actually got really quite bad. Our bodies do naturally produce histamine, and in most situations, our body can use up that excess histamine or get rid of that excess histamine. And see, I'm trying to do too many things at once. But sometimes in some people, they can't get rid of that excess histamine, and that's when they break out in rashes and have reactions to things that maybe other people wouldn't necessarily have reactions to. And I've noticed these reactions can vary according to how I am at the time. So if I'm really, really stressed, I typically end up with shingles, but I have actually learned what those sort of signs are, and I try not to let it develop to that because shingles are very, very painful. So then at best, I end up with rashes instead. And this has really, really heightened over the last couple of years. In fact, on Thursday night, I did have a histamine reaction. we don't even know what really happened. We were sitting there on the couch on Thursday night and we were watching a TV program, and I noticed that my breathing was slowly becoming quite laboured, really wheezy and really rattly in the chest. I'm thinking, what on earth is going on? Like, I haven't had an asthma attack in many years, but my asthma does flare up occasionally. I'm thinking, you know, I'm sitting in the house, there's nothing happening. Why is my asthma flaring up? And then I started getting itchy, like incredibly itchy all over my skin. And when I looked down, I'd actually scratched my arms so that they were red. I thought, I'm going to go and have a shower. I've got some of my watermelon splash body scrub in the shower. I'm just going to go and have a shower. And I went to the bathroom. I thought, well, I'll take some antihistamines to try and get my breathing back under control. So I took them. I also took my Ventolin. And when I went to go and have my shower, I found 8 bite marks on me. I have no idea what bit me, because when I got out the shower, it's like, right, Pepper, get here. If you've got fleas, there's going to be trouble. She doesn't have fleas, but she is treated and everything, so she didn't have that. So I'm imagining a little sandfly or something got into the house. And sorry, I'm just watching what some kids are doing out there. I'm imagining a sandfly got into the house and decided to make a meal of me. And my histamine levels just couldn't cope, and I ended up short of breath. I ended up with little rashes all over me and all sorts. But after about 20 minutes of taking the antihistamines, it all settled back down. So I was able to then go to bed. And by the time I woke up the next day, the rashes and everything had gone. So you would never have seen it. But I've noticed that this is very, very common since I've gone into perimenopause, having these reactions. And the other thing, this sort of elevated histamine leads on to sort of like the final thing that I have experienced. And again, the histamine, the overproduction of histamine is actually related to the drop. I think it's estrogen, they said. Estrogen is responsible for so many things, I found out. But it is because of that. And the other thing that has happened because of the sort of drops of those hormones in my body is I've become super sensitive to cold. Now, most women actually talk about having hot flushes. And what actually happens with that is because of that imbalance of the hormones in the body actually struggles to cool down. The hormones are partly responsible for cooling our bodies down or heating our bodies up. And most women experience hot flushes because their bodies can't cool them down because of that imbalance of hormones. I've actually gone completely the opposite way, and instead of my body overheating, I just can't keep warm. And that is why I'm constantly wearing cardigans. I hate being in air conditioning, and I've noticed it's got worse and worse over the years. There's things like we go shopping and I can't go into the freezers in the supermarkets without coming out frozen. I hate the air conditioning breeze over my skin. So even on a 35-degree day when I'm driving home, I don't have the air conditioning on in my car. I have the passenger window open, which cools the car down enough for me without that breeze freezing me. It's crazy. It really is. It does mean in winter I absolutely suffer from all the cold air. But yeah, I don't get these hot flushes that others get. I get cold ones. I can be walking down the street on a 35-degree day, and if there is a breeze, I will be shivering with goosebumps. It is just absolutely insane. I now get treated like an absolute thief when I go into shops because I get it now. I actually saw a story about it. Most people who go in with the intention of stealing in shops generally have long sleeves on. So when I walk into a shop in the middle of summer with long sleeves, people just assume the worst. They don't actually understand I'm wearing long sleeves because I am absolutely frozen. But the other thing, why it kind of also relates to the histamine, is that this cold sensitivity, I really noticed it I'd noticed it before, but it really became quite serious in 2019. It was a very cold winter in 2019, and I ended up developing Raynaud's. If you don't know what that is, that's the way our bodies heat and cool us down, is moving our blood around. So when we're cold, it brings the blood into the center of our body to keep our vital organs warm, and to do that, it pulls it from the extremities of your body, so your fingers, your toes, your ears, your nose, stuff like that. And in most people, it's a quick process, but it's a slow process. So it's quick enough to move that blood where it needs to be, but slow enough that you don't necessarily see it happening or feel it happening. But for someone with Raynaud's, it happens super fast. And so basically your body shuts down the valves where your blood flows and stops that blood getting to your extremities. And then your extremities have got no blood in them. And it is the creepiest sight to see when your fingers and toes, and people get it in their nose and their ears as well, have no blood in them. It is a horrible sight. And the first time it happened, I was beside myself. I honestly thought I was about to lose a finger. And it happened quite a number of times throughout 2019. Happened a couple of times in 2020 as well, because it was a little bit cooler. And I only now get it if I am going into freezer sections of supermarkets. So I tend to take hubby with me now to get stuff out of freezer sections. I can't hold things like cold drinks for too long. Otherwise my body just thinks I'm cold and I get white fingers. And the other thing that actually happens, which is linked to this histamine, is if I don't develop, or if the Raynaud's doesn't show, I get what's called cold-induced urticaria, which is when your histamines rise to, urticaria is when the histamine in your body rises to the skin and causes the rashes, and mine is induced by cold. So when my skin feels cold, histamine rises to the top of my skin and I break out in rashes. It's just absolutely crazy. So my sort of intention, I've been told the only thing I can do is actually keep warm. And so that if I can actually feel that my skin is getting cold, I need to go and put the cardigans on so I don't break out in rashes or Raynaud's or anything like that. So yeah, really crazy that unlike many other women who get hot flushes, which I'm sure you'd probably all prefer not to be hot and be cold, I can tell you being cold is no fun at all. I am constantly sore from being cold, inflammation from being cold. Yeah, it's crazy that I went that way instead of being hot, but I will say that I do get night sweats. But I've had night sweats for most of my life, which I think is related to the PCOS, that imbalance of the hormones there. But I have noticed that my night sweats are more severe now that I'm that bit older, but otherwise during the day, I am frozen. So there you go, that's just some of the things I have been experiencing going through perimenopause. A lot of the stuff there is no fix. Yes, I have been put onto certain medications which has helped alleviate it, but a lot of it for me was the fact that my doctor, this GP I finally found, just went, this is what's going on in your body. And then I went, okay, I know I'm not going mad. I can deal with it now that I know I'm not going mad. So yeah, feeling much better now, but they are just some of the things, and it's crazy the sort of things that your hormones are actually responsible for. Most people think it is just to do with reproduction, and yet there is so many more things that your hormones do within your body that none of us are told. And then we go into this sort of stage of life and it's like, oh my God, are they really responsible for helping me balance and stuff like that? So yeah, anyhow, that's made this vlog for super long. Sorry if I've bored anyone, if some of you weren't interested in any of that. I hope you skipped along. Anyhow, so we're down here. I got this arrived yesterday, and I want to put it on my my soap rack, just to try and bring a little bit of personality into the shop. I should have actually brought down, I don't know how I'm going to stick it on there. I'll have a bit of a look today, and I probably actually won't put it up till next week. Today's plans, we have got all of this lip oil that I am going to now get potted up and then get the labels done up. So once I know how much goes into each of my tubes, wherever they're all over there, we'll get that done, and then I can take home lip oils, body scrub, and also the DIY body care cream to get all of that photographed ready for February launches. And that's pretty much going to be it for today because I don't do too much. I still haven't printed up the labels for the oatmeal creams. I've got to do that this morning as well. But I'm going to go and get my music back on, get the door open. It's not too busy out there today. It's very grey and overcast, meant to be storms, which I'm really hoping that they're not going to be too severe given that hubby and I are driving down to the city tonight. So let me go and get this day moving along. So it has actually gone past 2 o'clock and I'm still in the shop. I'm just about to do my cash up. I was about to start doing it when I had some lovely people come into the shop. So I didn't do that because I don't like people to feel like I'm rushing them. Like sometimes you go into shops and it is their closing time and they start bringing all the stuff in and really make you start feeling uncomfortable about being there. You know, a sale at the end of the day is a sale, so I will always stay open. But I am going to do my cash up before I head home and then go out for dinner. I'm so excited. But as you can see, I'm leaving with a nice clean space. That black box there, that's what the camera lives in, so we'll be putting that away once I go home. I have found somewhere to put my little soap notice. I'm going to put it on the back of the soap rack, but I need a couple of screws to pop that on. I have my basket of lip oils and sugar scrubs here, all ready for February. I cut the soaps. I am in love with the seashells one, and I tell you what, unmolding this soap was just so easy, and this soap feels so smooth on the edges as well. Really happy with these new molds. and then have my big basket of stuff to go home. We've got the one order that we packed up earlier today. Underneath all of this, I have my products which I need to take home and get photographed. Ooh, I've also got my little, I haven't done much in it this week because I've just been a bit busy for it, but I have got the new bullet journal, which is from Lee over at Wicked Lee Goods. Can be found on Amazon. I will leave a link down below. Now, I'm not really into bullet journaling, but it is set up really, really nicely for me to be able to do planning in it, because most of the planners that are out there on the market I just don't cope well with. Lee wasn't able to do planners last year, but the bullet journal that she's done up, because most of the pages have got most of the sort of fancy stuff done, I can then just use it like a bit of a planner. So really, really impressed with that. I've left links down below for Lee's bullet journal, so I'm going to pop that back in there so I can take it home and do a bit of filling in for next week. But that's it for the week. It's been very, very productive in terms of what I've been able to get done, though the painting really, really has affected the overall week of getting people coming into the shop. We'll see if the agent actually does contact me. I ended up not contacting them because I just thought, you know, at the end of the day, the landlord actually is fairly proactive at doing stuff. It was just really, really inconvenient. The hairdresser did not open all week, so she obviously knew how inconvenient it was going to be. But like I said earlier, when people are dropping $200-300 just to get their hair cut next door, it only takes for her to have, 2 or 3 customers, and she's fine for a day. So for someone like me to shut for a week, I would never actually recover from it. So it is what it is. We'll see what happens from here on in. Whenever they've not been here, I've been busy, so it's just been a bit of a shame. Can't do much about it, but anyhow, I am going to go and finish my cash up, and then I am going to head home and go out for my dinner. I do hope you have enjoyed coming along with me this week. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up? Any comments down below? And until the next video comes out, which from now on, I'm going to get those regular uploads. I know I've had a couple of weeks off. I hope you have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye.